Okay, couture crafters. I just love the stamp set, so let's keep going with it. I had this idea that I wanted to make little round cards. So I'm cutting the paper down to 4.5, the same way that I did before. And I'm using my Misty, which is that pink thing that's on my table that's got the door on it. I know that some of you guys are brand new to stamping, and so I want everybody to be able to enjoy and learn from this. So that thing down there is called a Misty. It's the MISTI, and it lets you stamp stuff in the same exact spot over and over again. So I'm using the stamp ink pad from Catherine Pooler. It transfers inks very nicely to those stamps, and that's in the color, I think it's Lime Ricky. Or is it grass? It might be grass skirt. Grass skirt or lime Ricky, one of the two. Anyway, and I'm just cleaning off the stamp before I put it back. And you're just lining them up by putting them in the bottom left-hand corner. And they're very easy to line up, and they're really forgiving. So this is grass skirt right here. The first one was lime Ricky. And again, these are ink pads by Catherine Pooler. You guys know if you're starting out, that's what I tell everybody that they need, are those stamp pads. So there are 4 of these stamps that equal one field. And this field is different. So the ones that I used last time was the sunflowers. I think this one is called tulips. Yeah, and then the other one is lavender field. So this is the tulip one. And it gives you a field full of tulips. So now I'm using an orange color because I wanted orange tulips. And I think I'm using like orange twist. And then I use a red or a mandarin spice. I really don't know what colors I use. Use whatever colors you want. Make sure that one's lighter and one's darker. And how do I know which one goes down first? Is by looking at the back of the case that this comes in. Not the case, the bag. The bag that this comes in, I look at the back and it kind of tells you which one needs to be in a lighter color and a darker color. You just follow the key on the back. So I'm opening and closing and stamping and cleaning. And look, isn't that pretty? It's a field of tulips. I don't know what it is about the stamp set, but I am just in love with it. Hero Arts makes really nice stuff. So now I'm using my scoreboard, and this is an 8.5 length cardstock, so I just scored it at 4.25. And I just folded it over using my bone folder, the Teflon one, not the plastic one. And now I've got a little card. So I decided to do some ink blending in some different colors. First color is Mowed Lawn. Second color is Peacock Feathers. Third color is Chipped Sapphire. And of course I'm using my Tailored Expressions brushes. And I'm just going back and forth in little circles and playing and blending. I'm just trying to see if I can fall in love with blending oxides. There's something about them that I don't love, but it is fast. So I need to blend with ink in these brushes to see how fast that works too. I just don't know. And then lastly, we will do the Chipped Sapphire right at the end. There we go. And I'm blending and I'm going back and forth, and then I get a pretty smooth blend this time around. Maybe I'm getting better at it. I don't know. Oxides are weird. So the trick to making a circle card is to make sure that part of that circle is hanging off the fold. Otherwise, you'll just cut 2 circles. This circle is 4.25. It's a 4.25 circle. And I'm just going to run it through my Gemini Junior. And there it is. And I used a little bit of repositionable tape there to hold that die in place so it didn't move. And there she is. She's gorgeous. I made another one in blues and reds, which is striking. Boy, that's a pretty card that's sitting on that little platform there. I love it. So I just tape the circle down and run it through the same way. Make sure you hang off a little bit of that die on the fold. Otherwise, you'll just have 2 circles, and then you'll have to redesign your card. Which wouldn't be bad. You know, if that happens and you do end up cutting 2 circles, just make another one that's a little bit bigger, and then you'll just put that one in the center, and you'll still have a cool card. I'm heating up this card to make sure that it's completely dry because I decided to do a little heat embossing. Heat embossing is simply taking a sticky ink, stamping it down, pouring some powder on it, then melting the powder. I decided I wanted bright white clouds on this scene, even though it's super dark. I don't know why. Whatever. Things don't have to be real. They can be whatever or however fanciful you want them to be. You guys are lucky I didn't try to stamp a dragon on there. That's a thought. Maybe I will. I'm testing to see if it's dry, to see if any of the powder sticks. So a little bit of powder stuck. So I'm going to take a static pad for heat embossing and just rub it all around the area so that way the powder doesn't stick to any areas that I don't want it to. And then I'm doing a test again to make sure, and it looks good. Now I'm going to grab my super sticky ink and this little cloud stamp from one of the sets and a brand new block that I've never used before. That block is not brand new, it's just I've never used it before. I love those blocks. I got them from Stampin' Up! And they have grooves and they're big and I love them. So I'm just cleaning off that stamp, and I'm dipping it in a clear ink. You'll be able to see it on camera, but you can't really see it in, well, you can see it in person, but it's clear. You can see it, but just trust me, it's clear. And I decided to just stamp it 2 times. I don't know why I didn't do a third. Whatever, not a big deal. This is a tiny card. I usually do oblong, square, sometimes circles, but my circles are usually a little bit bigger than this. I prefer my circles to be about 5 inches. But because the width of that stamp set is 4.5, I think. No, it's 4 inches or 4.25. I had to make a little bitty circle, which actually was perfect because I did a little note to a friend and it worked out perfectly. And I used the itty bitty tiny word stamps on the inside. So now I'm embellishing the front with a tree and the sentiment at the same time. I knew I was going to stamp them both in black. I'm using VersaFine Clear ink in Nocturne, the color Nocturne. And there we go. I like that just like that, but then I decided that I had those balloons and I'm not going to use them for anything else ever. So I decided to put them on there, and I think the sentiment says, "You make my heart soar," with balloons. Like, isn't that just perfect? I think it is. So now we are going to clean those off, and I think we're going to embellish the other ones. If you look in the top right at that card, doesn't that just look beautiful? I think the sky, with that one, I only used Salty Ocean. I think I only used Salty Ocean on that one. And just blended it into white, and it makes me happy. And blending on these little cards was a lot more fun than blending on that super big long card that I did. That was just a lot of blending. And this one is little bit of blending, but still fun. So we were putting a couple of hot air balloons. I wanted this one to be a little more simple than the other one, and then I did just the little house they have in one of the sets. I am mixing and matching sets here, so I don't think that house comes with the poppy field, but I'm not sure, the tulip field. Who knows? You'll have to see what comes with each set. I bought all 3 sets because I'm a psycho like that. Maybe you only want 1 set and you need to look at what comes with that set to see what you want. I stamped that little blue, that house in blue. I thought it was going to be cute in blue, but you can barely tell. It almost looks black because it's a navy blue, but I just didn't want it to be black, so whatever. And of course I'm using the best glue ever, which is art glitter glue. So I had an idea for an envelope, and I really just wanted to use my Cricut, but if you don't have a Cricut, I wanted you to see how to do this. So I folded an 8.5 by 11 sheet in half, and now I'm cutting a circle. I'm actually cutting 2 circles at one time. So now I have 2 circles, and then I'm moving it over, and I will have 4 circles. I wanted a circular envelope. And again, I wanted to use my Cricut, but what if you don't have a Cricut? So here's a stamp set by Altenew. It's brand new. And I just grabbed it because it was near me. Because I wanted to have pattern paper, but I threw out all of my pattern paper. Blah, blah, blah. So I wanted these circles to have something on them. So I took the time to stamp to make my own pattern paper, basically. So I just grabbed a flower. I have a million flowers, and I don't necessarily love that, but I stamped it in orange on orange, and now I'm stamping it in clear ink like I did before because I wanted 2 of the circles to be different than the other 2. So I'm just going all around. You can't see this ink because it's clear, but trust me, it's on there and I can see it in person, so I know where to stamp and where not to stamp. I could have done some more stamping, but again, I'm just trying to show you guys how to make this envelope if you do not have a Cricut. You can do this by just cutting circles with scissors and tracing after, over a mayonnaise jar lid or something like that. But I wanted to make my own pattern paper and I wanted to do it quickly, so this is what I did. I see places where I could have stamped this a little differently, but you get what you get and you do not throw a fit. I'm just covering these with white powder. I dumped a couple of jars of Alabaster White by Brutus Monroe, which is a very, very pretty bright white. And now I'm using my heat gun to emboss these, and now I'm folding them in half. And then I'm just using my bone folder to straighten up the fold. Folding it in half. You're going to fold all 4 in half. This is not difficult. No, nothing special. So then you're going to make all the corners meet and make them overlap. You guys will figure out how to do this when you're doing it. So then you see, it looks like a little spinny thing in the center. You want to make sure that all the corners meet. You see that? And then you're just going to lift up a side and put a little glue down there. And then I'm going to rotate it. And I'm going to lift that up and put a little glue. I did not make sure that all the corners were matched up properly before I started gluing, so I have a little hiccup here, but it's not that serious. But I want you guys to make sure that all four line up before you do it. See right here, this is where I'm like, oh shoot, that should have been moved up more, but oh well. Oh well. And then you just tuck and push and tuck, and then you have an envelope. Look, mine's a little wonky, but it fits my little guy. It fits that little circle perfectly. And then you just close it up in there. Isn't that a cute envelope? But again, I wanted to do mine with a Cricut. So that's that one. And then we're just going to smush it all together. And this is the one that I cut out with my Cricut. It's just called a circle envelope. It's one of the files that comes with my Design Space, or I bought it or whatever. And you do that. If I wanted to be super duper fancy, I could have cut different panels to put on there. And one day I might, but it wasn't today. Because I was doing this at like 2 o'clock in the morning. And I had to be at school at 8. But nighttime crafting. Then I chose those tiny words stamps by Simon Says Stamp, which I love. That one says, "You are amazing. I'm in awe of you." And just smile. I love them. They're words of encouragement. And they're super cute. And so here we are doing my seal. As you guys know, I seal everything. And I decided to use the Beauty and the Beast seal for whatever reason. I wrote the message to my friend, a little wax, and bam, there you go. Let's see. There's the reveal. Oh, I love it so much. It's so cute. Beauty and the Beast. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I hope that you guys will check back soon. All right, bye-bye.